Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day today. I needed a couple of days off, but now we're back at it with more Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous content. This time I want to go through a build that I used for my Angel playthrough. I'm going to use a new format to go through these build videos. Let me know down in the comments if you like the change and it makes it faster for you to be able to get through these videos, or if you preferred where I went slower and went level by level. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and leave me a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the build. So, you probably were used to seeing me use this photo, but that's just because I really like that picture. I actually did choose a human for the playthrough. Cleric, Ecclesitheurge, human. And I chose the Acolyte background because I can use your wisdom instead of charisma when attempting persuasion checks. We want to specialize in wisdom, get that up to 20. We're going to dump intelligence, get 16 in charisma, dump strength, 11 in dexterity, and then a little bit extra constitution. All right, now, as an Ecclesitheurge, you specialize in knowledge, arcana, and world, along with lore, religion, and persuasion. Definitely recommend you take persuasion since it's your main character. Definitely recommend you take religion since it's actually really important to have at least one person in your party that is trained in religion. And why not your cleric, who's going to be bumping up wisdom anyway? Between arcana and world, you can choose whichever one you like. For your first feat, I would recommend select a channel. For your second feat, I would scroll down and get extra channel, cleric. Aristotle for your deity, channel positive energy. Community domain, which gives you access to the best buff in the game, in my opinion, guarded hearth. An animal domain, which will give you access to a pet. Lawful good. I chose pious as the voice, but honestly, wise and grumpy were awesome as well. You can pick whatever you like here. Okay, at level 2, we only increase skills. So at level 3 for the feat, I would scroll down and get spell penetration. At level 4, I would definitely go ahead and increase wisdom and continue to increase wisdom as you level up. You also get to choose your animal companion. I chose Velociraptor, and it was okay. I was satisfied with it, but just keep in mind, because the Velociraptor is size small, when it gets that size and strength increase at level 8, its ability scores are not going to increase as much as some of the larger animal companions. So if I remember correctly, around level 9 or 10, its dexterity was 25, whereas the Smilodon was, I think, around 40. So again, I didn't have an issue with the Velociraptor going down all the time or seeming especially weak while I was playing, but its actual stats are just not going to be as impressive as some of the other ones that you have available to you. For your level 5 feat, I'd go ahead and get Boon Companion. For your level 7 feat, I'd scroll down and go ahead and get greater spell penetration. Okay, for your level 9 feat, I'd go ahead and get spell focus conjuration. For your level 11 feat, I'd go greater spell focus conjuration. For your level 13 feat, I'd go ahead and scroll down and get critical focus. For your level 15 feat, I'd go ahead and go spell focus evocation. And then for your level 17 feat, I'd go ahead and scroll down and get sickening critical. Okay, so now that we've picked all your regular levels, let's go ahead and go through the mythic path. So first, you're going to pick Close to the Heavens, and then as your mythic ability, Abundant Casting. Next, you're going to go back into mythic abilities. Choose the improved Abundant Casting. Now at the third level, you get to choose what specific path you're going to go down. So of course, we're doing the Angel mythic path for this particular playthrough. And then for your mythic ability, go ahead and choose Enduring Spells. And then you want to go ahead and combine your playbook. If you just chose Mythic Spellbook, then what spellcaster level you're at for that spellbook will be determined by your mythic level, which means you're going to advance very, very slowly through your mythic path spellbook. But by combining them, it takes your cleric spellcasting level and what your casting level from your mythic path and combines them, allowing you to accelerate much faster through the spellbook. This is especially important for Angel because Angel has 9 spellcasting levels, as opposed to some of the other ones that only have 5 or 7. All right, and then for the level 4 mythic level, we want to go back into mythic ability again. Go ahead and get Greater Abundant Casting. And for our Sword of Heaven, we're going to want to go with Everlasting Flame. Then for level 5, we want to scroll down and go in Greater Enduring Spells. And for the Angelic Halo, we wanted to go Burning Bright. And then for the 6th level, we want to go Extra Mythic Ability again. And scroll down to Mythical Beast. And for Sword of Heaven, we want to use Grand Blessing. All right, so now that we've leveled up and also chosen the Mythic paths, let's go ahead and go through the special abilities and the feats that are on this character. There are chapters down below, so if you already know all this information, you can skip straight over to the spells. For those of you who need this information, I'll walk through it. We get Bonded Holy Symbol because we're in Ecclesitheurge, which means once per day, we could choose any one spell and be able to cast it again. Guarded Hearth takes your Wisdom modifier and gives a sacred bonus to all of your saving throws and attack rolls within a specific area for 1 hour. Close to the Heaven either heals allies for 4d6 plus 2d6 per mythic rank of damage, or deals the same amount of damage to enemies. This power does massive damage, especially if you combine it with Sword of Heaven. You get a bunch of summon powers no matter what mythic path you choose, but I believe all of them are broken right now except for Azada. Sword of Heaven. Weapons imbued with holy power deal an additional 2d6 holy damage on attacks, while spells and abilities used while holding imbued weapons deal an additional 2 dice of damage or heal an additional 2 dice of damage. With Sickening Critical, every time I score a critical hit, the opponent becomes sickened for 1 minute. Angelic Halo allows an angel to gain a bonus equal to half the angel's mythic rank plus 1 to AC and saving throws against attacks made or effects created by evil creatures. Sword of Holy Damage. This ability allows the angel to transform all damage dealt by the angel into holy damage. Abundant Casting. You can cast 4 more spells per day of 1st, 2nd, and 3rd levels each. Hard to Kill. You don't die until your total number of negative hit points becomes equal to or greater than double your Constitution score. With Heaven's Breath, you gain Resist Acid and Cold 20, and you get an immunity to petrification. Improved Abundant Casting. You can cast 4 more spells per day of 4th, 5th, and 6th levels each. So we take Abundant and Improved Casting back to back, because by the time you get to your 2nd mythic rank, you should have just reached your 4th spell ranking, so it makes sense. But then we break it up with Enduring Spells, because by the time you get to your 3rd mythic rank, you're not ready for 7th level spells, so there's no reason to take this yet. Enduring Spells. Effects of your spells on your allies that should last longer than an hour, but shorter than 24 hours, now last 24 hours. This isn't that great, but it gives us access to the next version. Greater Abundant Casting. You cast 4 more spells per day of 7th, 8th, and 9th levels each. Everlasting Flame. Sword of Heaven now lasts for 1 minute per mythic rank. Greater Enduring Spells. Effects of your spells on your allies that should last longer than 5 minutes, but shorter than 24 hours, now last 24 hours. So, by getting Everlasting Flame and Greater Enduring Spells, it causes Sword of Heaven to last for 24 hours. So you only need to cast it once, and then all of your attacks do holy damage, which is a massive damage increase against all the demons and evil creatures you're going to face. Burning Bright. In a 50-foot area, all demons and undead creatures suffer 2d6 plus mythic rank points of holy damage each round. Mythical Beast. Your animal companion gains a bonus to its strength, dexterity, and constitution equal to half your mythic rank plus 1. And finally, Grand Blessing. Additional damage and healing from Sword of Heaven are now maximized. And now looking at the feats. The first one we selected is Select a Channel. That ensures that if you heal allies, you're not healing enemies. And if you're attempting to damage undead, you won't damage any undead party members that you have. Extra Channel just allows you to channel energy 2 additional times per day, which is very useful. We take Spell Penetration with our 3rd feat because the most powerful angel spells are Conjuration. So it's definitely worth your time to specialize in Conjuration. But until you get the angel spell book, I venture to say there's no point in focusing in Conjuration. So we take Spell Penetration first because it's more useful for what the cleric is going to be doing around this time. And then we focus in Spell Conjuration later on when it makes more sense. You take Boon Companion as soon as you can get it. The pet is awesome. It's going to do great damage for you. Greater Spell Penetration. And then by the time you're going to get your 6 feet, you're just around that point where you're getting the angel spell book. It makes sense to go this route. So we go spell focus and greater spell focus, which both increase the difficulty class of saving throws for conjuration spells. Critical focus for a +4 circumstance bonus on attack rolls made to confirm critical hits. And then these last two are basically, you can put whatever you want in here. When I run out of angel attack spells, I do switch over to evocation. So I just added that there for flavoring. And then since we already have critical focus and you will crit, having sickening critical is just makes sense to me. But again, these last two, you can kind of flip it into whatever you want. Okay, so now that we've done all of that, let's go through the spell book. Keep in mind, I see this character as focused on damage and clearing rooms as soon as possible. Because of that, I highly recommend you take either Soseo or Darren in the party whenever you're playing this type of character, because you need somebody else who's going to handle heals, buffs, dealing with curses or debuffs and things of that nature. I don't want this person doing that. For this character, the best defense is a great offense. You're not going to use level 1 spells for very much time. I went on ahead and slotted a bunch of Bless because I use that a lot with a +1 morale bonus on attack rolls and saving throws. Magic Feign is also nice if you already have access to a pet, things of that nature. At level 2, same deal. Protection from chaos and protection from evil are both nice, gives more protection for your party. And then there are a bunch of enhancement bonuses for different stats. So +4 strength, +4 wisdom, etc., etc. You can slot whatever you need here based upon your party, but you're not really to the point yet that you can start dealing major damage. Things change a little bit at level 3. You get prayer, which is a +1 luck bonus on attack rolls, weapon damage rolls, saves, and skill checks. Keep in mind that buffs of the same type do not stack. So if you have a +2 luck bonus and a +1 luck bonus, that does not mean you have a +3 luck bonus. It'll just choose the larger of the two. So you need your buffs that you're stacking together to do different type of bonuses, whether it be luck, sacred, enhancement, whatever. You need to make sure that they're differentiated so that they all apply to your character. At this level, you also get access to Searing Light, which does 1d8 points of divine damage per 2 caster levels, up to 5d8. And then if it's going up against an undead creature, it does 1d6 points of divine damage per caster level, up to 10d6. Decent, not all that great, but it's the best you probably have right now. Because you're playing as an angel, I don't really believe in using necromancy spells for this build, so that's why I didn't mention Bone Shaker before. Going to level 4, I use protection from energy if you know what type of energy you're going to be going up against when you're facing a particular creature, which does happen from time to time. So if you combine this with resist energy, it gives you fantastic protection against a particular energy type. And even though Soseo should be handling restoration, it's still good for you to have a couple of cast on it, just in case your party really gets hits up hard and you need to be able to use this a couple more times. I like Holy Smite. It'll deal up to 5d8 points of damage for an evil creature or up to 10d6 for an evil outsider, and it causes that creature to become blinded for 1 round. So just be careful about using that if you have evil party members, because it does affect all creatures in a 20-foot burst, not just enemies. And then at level 5, things start to switch up a little bit. So for your domain slot, I put in Burst of Glory, which gives you a +1 sacred bonus on attack rolls and saves against fear effects, +1 temporary hit point per caster level, up to 20. And then I use Casting Flames, which does 1d6 holy damage per caster level. It does deal 1 holy damage per caster level to allies, but those allies are automatically healed from any ability score damage, blindness, confusion, dazzled, exhausted, fatigued, nauseated, and sickened conditions. In addition, it tries to dispel all diseases, poisons, and curses from allies. So it's a really nice way of dealing decent damage to enemies, while at the same time making sure that your allies don't have crazy effects happening with them. You also do have Raise Dead here, and you want the ability to be able to raise a dead party member, but I usually try to keep a scroll on hand that'll let me do that instead of slotting it on my clerics. At level 6, this is when you start really becoming a monster. So for your domain slot, I go ahead and put Stone Skin Communal, which allows you to be protected from up to 150 points of damage from blows, cuts, stabs, and slashes. And then I also put on heal, which is a healing spell that you have to manually slot. But it will immediately end any ability damage, blinding, confused, dazed, dazzled, diseased, exhausted, fatigued, nauseated, poisoned, sickened, and stunned, and also restores 150 points of damage. So this is a great spell to have on hand. It basically gets a person right back into the fight. But as you can see, most slots are going to be filled up with Bolt of Justice. You can read what the spell does here, but basically it's fantastic. And what really makes it stand out is the stronger the opponent is, the better this spell becomes. So if you're facing a demon lord or an evil dragon or lord of the undead, this is exactly the spell that you want to have. Then at level 7, you definitely want to go ahead and take Restoration Greater so that you'll be able to cure all those negative levels, ability damage, and things of that nature. Ward from Weakness is also fantastic. In a 20-foot radius, it'll give you immunity to fatigue, exhaustion, nauseated, sickened, diseases, poison, ability damage, and ability drain. And then for your damage spell, Holy Ward is nice. If for any creature that is non-good, it'll either blind them, paralyze and blind them, or kill, paralyze, and blind them. Level 8, Holy Aura is absolutely a necessity at the end of Act 3 and all throughout Act 4. So again, you want to have Sosale be the one that's using this, but since you have a domain slot, you might as well pop one in there as well. Specifically, it's so necessary because of the second part of the buff. Creature gains spell resistance 25 against evil spells and spells cast by evil creatures. This is monumental because there are a lot of creatures that'll try to confuse you, drive you insane, or just anything to convince your party members to attack each other. You're also going to use a lot of Storm of Justice, which functions just like Bolt of Justice, except it affects all enemies within a 30-foot burst. Absolutely fantastic. And then finally, for your domain slot, Heal Mass is a complete lifesaver. It'll take your party from the brink of defeat all the way to right back into the game. Fortress of the Faithful is also really nice. The spell works as Aegis of the Faithful, but affects all allies in a 20-foot radius and lasts for 1 hour. Aegis of the Faithful puts on Shield, Shield of Faith, protection from arrows, displacement, and resists fire, cold, electricity, acid, and sonic spells for 1 minute per caster level. And then you want to use Wrath of Righteous. All demons in a 40-foot radius around the caster make a will saving throw that, if failed, causes them to be dealt 10 damage per caster level. If the saving throw is successful, the demon is dealt 1d6 damage per caster level. So you can see I'm only level 17, so I'm not even max level, but my caster level is 23, so that's 230 points of damage at max. And that gives you all the spells that are really necessary. So when you put that together with the mythic talents that I've selected, you'll see we have 7 casts of Wrath of Justice, and then Fortress of the Faithful is going to last for 24 hours. We have 8 casts of Storm of Justice. We have 7 casts of Holy Word, and Ward from Weakness is going to last 24 hours. And then we have 8 casts of Bolt of Justice as well, along with Stone Skin Communal being 24 hours and being able to use Heal. So when you put all of that together, you get a character that can do monumental damage against enemies of all ranks, is a fantastic secondary healer, can easily pass a lot of persuasion checks and wisdom checks, and pretty much just is a standout member of the party. That's the build that I used for my last playthrough. Let me know down in the comments. What do you think? Was this a build that you felt like was very effective? Do you think there are some things I could have done better that you would recommend for my next Angel playthrough? Let me know. Looking forward to hearing from all of you. And again, if you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like down below and subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.